Coming up, I've got coffee and an inbox full of emails.
You're listening to Double Time, your daily accessible technology show. Now, here's your hosts, Stephen Scott and Shaun Priest.
Yeah, I didn't know that was going either. Shaun Priest, how are you doing today?
And where was that going, Stephen Scott?
I know.
I think you need more coffee.
I know. I've got my coffee mug here, which is if you're on YouTube, you can see this. I got this in Alaska when we were playing with a little Alaskan, they're little husky puppies. We were because the thing is, the cup is covered in pictures of husky dogs, puppy dogs.
Ah, that's beautiful.
Beautiful, gorgeous.
Okay. Well done. Well, I can't see it, and that description was terrible, so I'm not bothered.
Yeah, see, that's why I don't do alt text. So I'm against it. That's what you're going to get. Yeah, there's a mug and there's pictures of dogs on it. What would you want me to tell you?
Is, thank God for the inbox. We need help.
I will say this. I have a mug, which my wife got me, which says, "This guy loves KFC."
No way.
I know.
Okay.
It's genius.
Yes.
And it's also 100% accurate. However, slight issue. I didn't realize this, but dishwashers are terrible.
Oh, is it all peeled off?
So now it's just Stephen Scott loves FC, whatever that means. And
Football
I think
club.
it's now down to C. I don't know if I like where this is going.
Nor do I. Hit that email jingle quickly.
Email. We get email. We get your email every day.
Every day.
Here's your mail today.
Oh, I didn't like that at all.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. Anyway, plenty of inbox emails. We have plenty of emails to come from the inbox.
Take a swig,
today.
Stephen.
I know. I think I need more coffee. I just had about 3 coffees today. It's doing nothing for me. Do you know?
You know why?
Mushroom coffee. Yeah.
Mushroom coffee. That's not
mushroom
coffee.
It's the future.
It's not the future. It's not working, Stephen Scott. You need that jolt to the system.
I know. I think I do. I actually think I do. It's not doing anything for me. This is bad.
Bad. Searching for words. This is bad.
Right, okay, let's get into some emails, shall we? We have
Please.
plenty to get through. And I've got to say, one that surprises me, because Dean has been in touch from New Zealand.
Uh-oh.
I know. Well, that's immediately my thoughts as well, on your behalf.
Yes.
But I will say, I think if you listen closely, there might be just a little bit, if you listen very, very closely, there might be a little bit of praise for Shaun Priest.
Hey, Stephen and lovely Laura. Thanks for the riveting 2 episodes on the WeWalk Smart Cane 2. Sounds just so fantastic. I hope to, in coming weeks or months, with a wonderful O&M instructor, to try this incredible tool out with her. I'm pretty sure, though, at this stage, I'm very likely to buy one, short of a major calamity or catastrophe that for some reason I can't get it to work properly or it ends up being overhyped. I'm in. What a great discussion was had with Janine Stanley. I have one cosmetic eye, my second in my life. I damn well lost the first one. I wanted to attach it to my forehead and have bright blue glow on it, then I would look like Davros. I had cataracts removed from both eyes at 6 months old, which led to my lifetime of glaucoma. I reckon I would hold the world record for the amount of surgeries I've had for my glaucoma throughout mostly the 1970s, hence why I'm a bit thick with a lot of technologies I'm wanting to learn. In closing, I too want to offer praise to Shaun. Yes, I know Shaun has done good for a change when he told about Copilot for the phone. I always think it was just good for the computer for some reason. So I'm trying her out. The UK lady was the best of a rather bad lot of voices. I'm sure Mr. F will give Shaun an extra donut over lunch the next time Shaun calls into Mr. F's office. Well, I hope lovely Laura isn't falling asleep after this lengthy email. From Dean in New Zealand.
That's an amazing moment in time right there.
I'm
praiseworthy email for Shaun Priest from Dean.
Yeah,
I don't know what
Shaun
to say.
does something good. Shocker. Breaking news. Thank you,
Who
Dean.
knew?
Thank you so much. And I hope you're enjoying Copilot. I love it. It is mostly my go-to AI on my phone.
Yeah, I'm not using Copilot much.
Well, it's got the computer vision now. So does Gemini. But ChatGPT doesn't, which quite surprises me.
Yeah, so there's one, InnerSearch have started using this kind of capability where, it can see the screen, it can react to things, even take action on your behalf. They've got this new thing called CoBrowse AI, which sits alongside. So when you go to InnerSearch.com, you can then go there, you can do your shopping. But if you want to know more about what's on screen, or, is there an option to add a voucher code or something, that kind of thing, if you're looking for that particular bit of the web page, CoBrowse can help you find it. So I haven't tried it myself yet, but I'm reading about it over the weekend.
It makes me think of a cobra with eyebrows. Just saying.
Cobra with eyebrows. CoBrowse.
We're starting to see more and more of these. This is agentic AI, right? These are the agents that can take actions for you. And we're starting to see more and more of this. It's getting exciting. You know what it is, Stephen Scott? It's potential.
Oh, not this again.
No, it is. No, it's cool. I can't wait to see more and more of these agents because they can obviously be incredibly helpful for us.
Mentioning the WeWalk, of course. Yeah, I mean, that's very interesting, actually. And I will be doing a bit of a review, a proper review of it, and actually kind of bringing in a lot of your questions, because a lot of you have been in touch with questions about the WeWalk cane. So we're going to put all that together into the review, which I'll talk you through. Maybe even next week we'll do that, because I've been using it now pretty much not daily, because I'm not out every day necessarily, but I'm trying to get out most days with it. And finding some cool things. And actually your questions are helping me learn more about it. So yeah, really, really good. There was an update for it the other day, because a couple of people had got in touch complaining about battery life. I think we touched on this a couple of weeks ago. There were a few issues where it would, even when it was turned off, you could go back to it, turn it on, and it was dead. Well, obviously you couldn't turn on because it was dead, but you get my point.
That's a big problem for me, that battery drain, because you can't rely on it then.
Well, there was an update, and it specifically talked about fixing the battery issues in the update. So I have performed the update, and I will let you know how that goes, because I only got the update yesterday. So we'll see how it actually performs.
Come on, Stephen. Come on.
What do you want me to do? What do you want me to just zoom time forward?
I just want you to tap around with it and let us know. Hurry up.
All right.
Thank you. All right.
I could give you the WeWalk cane to you, and then we'll never hear about it again.
Probably, yeah.
How are those Envision glasses going, by the way?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, thanks. See, there you go. That's the double tap review right there.
You know what? I prefer the Ray-Bans. I'm just going to say it. I do prefer the Ray-Bans. And I'm not entirely sure why.
Yeah, I can't get my head around this. I mean, I can and I can't. Right? From me, especially. From my own perspective, I can understand it, because I like wearing sunglasses. I prefer wearing sunglasses.
I don't care.
So for me, the Envisions have a problem, because the sunglasses attachment you get, it's not built for my ginormous head.
No, that's correct.
So
Horse head.
For me, yeah, exactly. So for me, I buy the largest possible Meta Ray-Bans I can find, horse edition.
Yes.
And that's the HE, the horse edition. And that's what I wear. So I love wearing them, and I can understand that. But what I don't get is, you say to me all the time, the Meta AI is pretty rubbish. But yet you stick with it. And yet Envision AI is, arguably better in the sense that it's tuned to us. So why not wear those? And you don't care if you wear sunglasses or not, do you?
No, I don't care. No, it doesn't.
So I'm
make
totally
difference.
confused. Why not use Envision all the time?
You know what I think it is? I need to actually look into this a bit more. I think it's simply the interface. I don't rely on the AI as much, right? The things I'm using my Ray-Bans for are for the video calling, the video assistants, basically, be that through Be My Eyes, the Ira through WhatsApp, or whatever, family members through WhatsApp or Messenger. That is my main use for these. I don't rely on the AI so much. So when I tried the Envision glasses and I need to choose between, OCR, scene recognition, or whatever it may be, I don't know, I just find that slightly cumbersome, and I don't find I use it very often. Plus, there is a bit of an issue with the ones I've got anyway, the battery life. Talking about just taking them out of the case and finding them dead. That does happen.
You also have to leave them on charge all the time.
Yeah, that's just not practical, right? So, yeah, but I must admit, I need to try them more now that Ally is more fleshed out, fully formed. I do need to try them more and see if that makes a difference. For me, it's more about how you interact with the glasses that maybe is a bit of a barrier.
Is it Ally or Ally?
Well, I assume it's Ally because of what it does. It's your ally. It's your visual ally. It's your AI ally, right?
I thought it was like Lady A, or like S-Lady, or S-Man, or G-Man, or G-Lady.
What are you talking about, Stephen Scott?
It's like the name. It's like a name, that cute little name.
Oh, you're thinking of Ali McBeal, maybe.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm also, I do regularly. But yeah, Ali McBeal, absolutely.
Okay. Quickly, please move on.
I don't think Harrison Ford would be too pleased to hear about this, but
I'm sorry, I don't get the connection.
They're married.
No way!
Harrison Ford married Callista Flockhart. Don't you keep up to date with the shenanigans of Hollywood?
Who's Callista Flockhart? Who's that?
Felicity Clocktow. She was the star of Ally McBeal.
Oh, was she Ali Mobile?
She was Ally McBeal.
I think we've wandered off onto waffle here, but
I think
thank
we
you very
have.
much,
Yeah,
Dean.
I feel the sensor is going to go off any
There
minute.
goes my donut from Mr. F.
Yeah, you're not getting it now. Sorry. Dean's back, annoyed at you again. It's all Dean's fault. Dean's fault? Sean's fault? What are we doing?
Thank you. Oh, can
Hang on
I
a
say
sec.
that?
More coffee required. Hang on, more coffee.
On
Carry
the
on.
Meta Ray-Bans, you take a swig of your mushroom.
Thank you.
On the Meta Ray-Bans, I did notice a couple of days ago that I asked it, look and describe. And it did. And it said something different to what it usually does. It said, you are walking in a park.
Oh.
And I thought, that's just strange. It's never said that before. You are. Anyway, I then went on and said, what version of Llama are you using? And it said, I am using Llama 4. So it's actually using the latest version of the Meta AI now.
And what does
I
that
don't
mean?
know-
It'll just
Well,
say your name now.
Yeah, it says you are. Well, I don't know.
Great. That's a huge update.
I haven't dug into it any further. No, but I mean, it's going to be improved, but I don't know if it adds any extra features, obviously. But yeah, it's just interesting. The Ray-Bans are now using Llama 4.
I thought about something. We should have just called this show Surface. That's what we should have called this show.
Yeah, we just scratched the surface.
We do. We
and
just
no
scratch
deeper.
the surface, and then we let the listeners do all the work, because then they go off and figure it out, and then come back and tell us.
What
I
does
like
Llama
that approach, by the way.
What benefits does Llama 4 give you? Oh, well, it's just there.
You are. Didn't do that last week. Okay. Well, thank you, Dean. Good luck with the WeWalk. Look, would I recommend it? I'll tell you next week.
Hold off for a week, Dean.
Yeah.
Just wait and see.
Yeah, I'm going to look. My views on this are mine. WeWalk sent me it with no, caveat that I have to say anything nice about it or say anything about it, quite frankly. But I'm choosing to, because I think it's a piece of technology a lot of people are interested in. There's lots of aspects to it that are of interest. I'm doing a trip this week, which I think is going to really help me understand some of the joined up thinking that it has with, the ability to navigate, get you on, say, a bus, get you to your destination, use functions like being able to tell you when to get off the bus. I can't wait to try that. That's one thing I'm really keen to test. So, there's lots of aspects to it that I'm really keen to try. But so far, I am quite impressed. I will say the one thing that seems to be the most controversial about it is the obstacle detection. And I'm really liking the obstacle detection. I found it really useful. And I think it's because of the positioning. It's not something that's separate to the cane. It's built into the cane. So just twisting, almost like treating it like a torch, twisting it left and right, understanding the area in front of me, I'm finding really useful. I'm starting to understand, okay, I know what I'm looking at, essentially. I know that area is safe to walk, that area isn't. I'm using the cane, obviously, to make sure I don't fall off a curb, things like that. You haven't used all the skills at once, right? You can't just rely on one thing. But the obstacle detection is really useful and stopped me walking into a couple of different cars on the pavement. The only thing I would say is, I know some people have asked me the question, how is it if you're walking up to something, like a van parked in front of you? Will it see it? Or a car even? Well, a car maybe not so much because of the height of the car. It's more a case of if you were walking next to a car that you were about to bump into, if the sensor is angled left or right, then you would hear it. You would hear the beeps from the sensor telling you you're getting close to something.
Are you starting to get the feel for the relationship between the actual physical object and the beeps or the haptics that you're getting? So you can actually sort of feel where the obstacle is.
Yeah, because the cane is in your hand and the index finger is essentially pointing. If you're holding it properly, it's actually pointing towards the sensor, right? So you know what the direction of travel of the sensor is. So you know your finger is pointing towards the sensor's pointing up. So therefore you can kind of just move your hand left and right. So if I'm walking along, for example, and as I have, I'm sure we all face this, where I live, there's very narrow pavements, and oftentimes there's hedges sticking out. I've cut myself, I don't know how many times on those. Being able to walk along and be able just to angle the sensor towards those hedges to get a sense of I'm not too close to it, but I can use my cane to determine where I am on the pavement. It allows me to walk not necessarily being right up against, shorelining against the side of the pavement or the side of the road. I can just walk down the middle, and I find that really useful.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Yeah, very true.
It takes a bit of time to get used to, and it does take more than just the sensor itself. The sensor will give you some of the information. You've got to use the cane for the rest, as you would. So it's just adding this extra element in, but it is not
as
in
long as
any
it's
way
useful.
irritating. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I'd say that's annoying about it is when you meet someone, and of course you bring your cane up right in front of you, and then it just will not stop beeping because it's like there's obstacles all around me.
You could quickly turn it off, though.
You
right?
can switch it off,
that's
and it's
fine.
pretty cool. And of course, inevitably, it always creates conversation. People are like, "What on earth is that? Where's
Yeah.
a cane talking to you?"
Cool.
It's quite interesting. But yeah, stick around next week. I'll give you a more detailed, thorough review.
Good.
Will be
Looking forward
coming
to
next week. Yeah, we'll get into that. I want to go to, in fact, speaking of this, because I've been talking a lot about my guide dog journey, which is, I have to say, a very short journey so far.
Yes.
Because I haven't really gone anywhere. But I have applied for a guide dog. I've got through to the stage, the judges' houses, I believe. So I'm now at the position where I can,
Yes.
be seen by the guide dog people to see if I'm fit to be a dog owner.
Ugh.
Already got 2 in the house, but let's just park that to the side for a second. But to see if I'm fit for having a dog, that is coming up. But Craig got in touch because he's been listening to this story with interest.
Hi, folks. The jolly banter between you both is hilarious. I'm not normally one for emailing, more of a listener, but Stephen's journey to getting a guide dog is interesting. Obviously, Frank's comments and Labrador hair were interesting also. My dog, Merlin, retires on Monday. I'm on the waiting list, which is good, but it might be a long wait. I've said about the cane training, which is my worst nightmare, but at least to get to the local shop, I'll persevere. But being without a dog means adapting to other ways of getting to places. In the UK, passenger assistance on railway are great. What I've found with the cane, both Stephen and Frank might agree, everything I've ever done with Merlin is the total opposite. No approaching dropped curbs with a cane. It's complicated to say the least. I know from personal experience a guide dog will make all the difference. The work Merlin has done is nothing short of amazing. On the dog hair, there's no denying that they are the hairiest creatures ever. Brushing him takes forever. I could fill a bin bag with the hair. Mind you, birds here have the comfiest nests. Indoors, at the moment we have a solution. We look after a 1-year-old during the day. I think he gets used as a lint roller and probably goes home looking like the Yeti. Despite that, I'll miss working with Merlin. Frank is correct. People talk to the dog, not to the person, and definitely not to the cane. Anyhow, just my thoughts on the dog stuff, and I could likely go on for ages with hilarious dog stories. Either that or the inaccessibility of some apps, but that'll keep. Thanks for now. I'll keep listening to your guide dog updates. Craig Happel, and soon to be retired Merlin.
Oh, well, good luck to Merlin.
God bless you, Merlin. Thank you, sir.
I was reading on a forum, I think it might have been on Facebook, someone was commenting on, and this may be the case across the world, I don't know, but I thought it was interesting. This person had their dog due for retirement. That was getting to that time. Did you see this one?
Yeah.
And it was someone saying, essentially, I don't have any control over this. You know, this is all up to the guide dogs people, and they don't even invite the individual in. This was in the UK.
They're having a meeting to discuss the retirement, possible retirement of my guide dog, and I'm not in the room.
I'm not even involved in the conversation. This is all focused on the dog. Now, it absolutely needs to be focused on the dog. That's important. But bear in mind that that individual is now going to be on a waiting list, possibly for up to 2 years to get a new guide dog. And the decision as to when that happens has got you've got no influence in. You've got no part to play in. And I do find that interesting how these things tend to work. It's like, I feel that they talk a lot about guide dog partnership. I remember when I was, and again, it was a long time ago. I was 19, so it's a long time ago, and a lot has changed in that time. But I think back to those days, and I think there was much more talk about you and the dog. The conversation is now dog, and that's fine, okay? We're all for the welfare of the dog. But there's a person in the middle of all this as well, a person who's impacted by decisions made to retire the dog.
It's a huge connection.
Absolutely.
Between the guide dog and the guide dog user.
One question I get asked a lot is, well, what happens when the dog retires? Well, there's a couple of options. The person who owns or who has the dog can keep the animal if they can keep the animal. Because bear in mind, if you want a second dog, that means you need to be able to look after both of them. That could be a challenge. So there are some blind people who may not have a choice in this. They may feel that they have to let go of their dog, which means usually the dog is retired to either friends, family if possible, or possibly even the dog might even go back to the original puppy raiser. That happens sometimes as well. It depends. It's all over the individual. But it might mean that relationship has to be broken up, and that's hard. I mean, look, I only had my dog for a year and a half, and I remember the day. I remember a movie years ago called Homeward Bound.
Yes.
And there was a scene in that film where the dog is in the back of the car, and gets driven off. And everyone's in tears, because the dog's driven off in the car. And all you see is the dog just staring at the back of the car as the car drives away.
Stop it.
And that was it with me. That was exactly what happened to me. I will never forget it. The dog's in the back of the guide dog car, not driving, obviously, in the back, and staring out the back window as, I'm saying cheerio, and I'm thinking, this is horrendous. It's a horrible thing to go through. I don't know the solution to it because obviously the welfare of the dog is important, and also continued commitment to having a dog is important too. Can you look after them? But I think it's more about the issue here that was raised was that, that individual really had no say at all in it and the process and the timing. And that doesn't feel right to me.
Is it? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the reasoning behind that. I suppose it's all about the analysing the situation and taking emotion out of it, because can anyone give up their dog? I mean, after so many years? It's so difficult.
The other thing that really sticks in my mind, and it's a struggle, because I've seen it happen to friends, I've seen it happen to family, I've seen it happen to my wife, where, the dog is refused entry somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to think that I'd be considered and, not go off the head about it and, be considerate to the place, but also get my point across. And then I also know what I'm like when someone riles me up.
Yes.
And so does everyone who listens to Double Tap, right? Then I start yelling and screaming. And I just think, can I deal with that every day on top of everything else I'm trying to deal with? Can I deal with that as well? And that was a big, big consideration. And it still is a big consideration of the decision to actually go ahead and do this. Because you think, well, I'm not just taking on a dog, I'm taking on society's challenges as well. I've never been removed somewhere or asked to leave somewhere because of a cane.
It's interesting. It's because of the obvious benefits that a guide dog brings. I've never really thought about that before. But it's going to be so interesting if you do get a guide dog and you do see the other side of it like this.
Well, it's the old phrase, and I live by it. Nothing's a problem until it happens to you.
It's very true. It is very true.
And it's easy for me to sit here and say, well, I would do this or I would do that or I wouldn't behave this way. And then I'm in that situation. It's my, 300th Uber,
rejection.
rejection. Yeah. And suddenly I'm like,
Exactly. And you miss the train or you miss your appointment or you miss whatever. And you suddenly realize how unfair it all is.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really difficult one. And this is why I think realistically, if I'm honest, Glide will be here before any guide dog is. Because even though Glide has been pushed back into next year from Glidance, I still think it will likely show up before I have a dog anywhere near, even with the process right now, I'm still waiting. So
what's the waiting list right now? Is it 2 years?
2 years, and I'm not even on the official list yet.
Yeah.
So we've a long way to go. Now, look, that can change, right? You can get on the list and then within 2 months get a call. It's all dependent on the dogs, the availability, the matching process. So if a dog comes through that they think actually that dog is going to be perfect for Stephen, then the call would be made and we'd go through the process. And it might be that in 3 months I have a dog. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's unlikely, I think, because I've seen friends of mine who are going through this and they're still waiting years in. And they've had dogs for years. So it's not like, it's not, people think it's like, oh, well, they'll be first in the queue. They should be, but that's not often how it works. It's down to the dog, the type of dog.
Well, like you say, the matching as well, right?
Well, that's the key. The key is the matching, because I need a dog that can be able to go on trains and on planes and go places. Someone else might need a dog that is much more relaxed, that maybe only does gentle walks, can walk slower. So that dog would be perfect for someone else, but not for me.
Yeah.
And vice versa. So
that's true. You do run a lot, Stephen.
I do. Well, you know me, I like to move fast.
You do.
And that's one thing I'm kind of looking forward to, is actually going for a walk that doesn't involve stop-start every 3 seconds,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Usually because I'm trailing along with you. I think I realised what it is. I was always into buses, and then later in life I get into trucks. And I think it's because I felt like I was one.
Yeah,
and you were my trailer.
I know, exactly. Hanging off your backpack there. You are my guide dog, Stephen Scott. It's great.
You were the carrots that were taken to Poland in that truck game that I used to love. Do you know what's funny, right? The other day, I was saying to my wife, I said, I really, really miss playing my truck game. It's actually annoying me now. It was like I can't even drive a fake truck.
Oh, is there an accessible truck simulator out there that someone can get for Stephen Scott?
Do you know what?
Please?
I don't even want one. I don't want it. I want that experience back.
But you can't look back, Stephen Scott. It's gone.
I can't.
Forget
'Cause I
about
can't
it.
see the back. That's the problem. I can't see the end of the truck.
You got parking sensors now. It's fine. Beep, 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 beep.
It's funny, isn't it? Because again, it comes back to this thing. I said it a couple of months back, maybe a year ago now. I remember when GTA 6 was announced, and there's lots of talk about it coming out. I mean, some of the stories around it are amazing. Like, apparently, that game is going to make more money than Hollywood makes in a year. It's going to make it in like a week or something. It's a ridiculous amount of money.
Didn't GTA 5 do the same thing? I mean, it took them billions in its first week of sales. It was amazing.
I think they said that it's expected to make something like $6 billion. I don't know if that's in the first year or whatever the time frame is, but basically they were saying for all of Hollywood, all of it to make money, it makes $9 billion. And that's how much total Hollywood makes in a year. This will make $6 billion in a year. $3 billion shy of Hollywood and everything in it. Because it's huge. It's a massive game franchise. You know, there's so many elements to it. And of course, that is just going to be continually making money.
Yeah, of course.
It takes them 10 years to make, and they make it all back in a few years, and they just keep adding to it to make more money and then make the next one.
I know you sad you can't see it.
But I'm not going to be able to play it. The first Grand Theft Auto I won't be able to play at all. And you kind of get a little bit miffed about it, to be perfectly honest. You know, you're like a little bit miffed.
That's very tame of you, Stephen.
I had to hold myself back a little bit there but to remember where I was.
It's true, though. It's funny things like that. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Especially if someone, who's sort of grown up with video games and you hear about the latest one. There was one that's meant to be so photorealistic, people thought it was a body cam, and you think, I would just love just to be able to see that for a bit. I remember pole position on the Atari, and
Pong,
Pong with square ball in the middle. Yeah,
I mean, some ways that'd be easier to play nowadays. I think if I could.
That's true. High contrast.
Yeah, exactly. For low vision, that would be ideal. But no, it's just those kind of things, like even the Meta Quest and all that. All these headsets are coming out, and you think, wow, this would be amazing. People talk about these amazing experiences, and you think, I think what annoys me a little bit is because I had the low vision part going into it. So I had the chance to taste it, but I can't, it's like, someone giving you a 3-course meal in a really expensive restaurant. It's like, I had a taste of it, but I can't afford to actually buy it.
You just had the starter and then they took it away from you.
And it's like, oh, he can't pay, so he's out.
Well, there's still Dice World, Stephen Scott, or Night Manager.
I feel that there must be a world where audio games, I know there's probably more out there than I know of, and I'm starting to slowly get interested in them, because I think, if I'm honest, Facebook has got to the point for me that the videos I'm getting, they're actually starting to know me. They're actually starting to get, I mean, first off, it's bus ads or bus-related content, which involves people on buses driving them.
Bus-adjacent,
Bus-adjacent content. And then the one that's kind of got me, and I really, well done Facebook, because you've kind of figured me out. Amazon finds. These are now videos I'm getting where it's telling me, hey, I just found this cool thing on Amazon. And I'm like, oh, what is it? And it's like there was one which was like a washing machine, but it wasn't a washing machine because...
It was a keyboard as well and a bus. All in one.
And there was a keyboard driving bus. No, it was a washing machine, right? And what you could do is you could sit it was a tabletop washing machine, which you could put, your smalls, shall we say, into it.
Oh, okay.
To wash, obviously, to clean. And then there was a rack that you could put in it that you could put shoes in to wash your shoes.
Okay, yeah, I've got a washing machine.
And then there was a drying function in it where you could put your towels in it. And if you wanted to, go for a shower and come out to nice hot towels, you could have a setting for that. And I thought, oh, this is what I need. And it looks like an airplane engine.
You didn't buy it, did you?
No, I didn't buy it. But, this is my problem. I've now got a million things on Amazon I want to buy. So I need to get off Facebook, is what I'm saying. Because it's going to cost me a fortune.
When I realised I need to get off Facebook is when I clicked on the video tab at the bottom and it said, you're all caught up.
You've watched everything.
I've watched every video.
You've seen the internet.
Wow, I was ill for a while, but I didn't realise I watched absolutely everything.
Entire internet. Yeah,
it's not
nothing
good.
Left. No.
Not good.
My gran felt the same way about Inspector Morse, but we'll leave that for another day.
Oh.
Right, look, stick around. We'll get into more emails after this. Here's how to get in touch with the show.
Get in touch with Double Tap. Email feedback at doubletaponair.com. Leave us a voicemail at 1-877-803-4567. And now you can send an audio or video message to us on WhatsApp. That number is 1-613-481-0144.
Okay, let's get back into the emails. And Amy is up next.
Hi, Shaun and Stephen. This is Amy. Just a couple of comments, disjointed as they are, because they cover different topics. First of all, just a funny thing to contribute to the blindness and glasses discussion. When I was about 10 years old, my mother and my mother's godmother, who was about as close to a grandparent as I had, were in a lively discussion about whether I should wear dark glasses to hide my eyes. I've been totally blind since birth, so it wasn't a question of vision. So I remember walking in and saying, okay, you guys can stop debating this because I'm not going to wear glasses no matter what you say, because number one, they won't do me any good, and number two, I'd probably forget them somewhere because, as I said, they wouldn't do me any good. Anyway, just a different take on that. Also, regarding Lisa Salinger's recent comment about the use of the brain and the appropriation of brain cells to hearing and perhaps other senses, I too grew up feeling that we didn't have any better hearing or any other better senses because of blindness, but I actually was involved in a study in which my brain was examined through multiple MRIs, and the conclusions that the researchers reached, and this was some time ago now, what the conclusions were that actually if you are blind since birth or early in life, that centers of the brain that are normally used for vision are subsequently used and appropriated to hearing and other senses. And a postscript to that is, and I don't know whether this is a change in the brain or not, but now that I have a hearing impairment in addition to total blindness, I notice my olfactory senses are much greater than I ever recognized before. And that may just be because I'm using them more. But anyway, just a contribution to the discussion. Thanks for listening.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Amy. I mean, some interesting food for thought here. That's the second story we've heard about this. I'm starting to think this is no longer a conspiracy theory. Maybe there's something
Super
in
senses. It's true. You know what? Actually, Sarah's been trying to get out more recently, and she has started to say, "There's a car here." Because I was saying, you can sort of sense when there's something in front of you. And she always said, no, you can't. And she used to get annoyed with me for saying that, like it was some mythical super skill that, almost like echolocation, that sort of, not everyone can do it. But she has that now as well. Now, it's not 100%. Of course it's not. I still walk into things all the time. But there's no denying that you can sense when there's something around you. And I stop and I feel, and usually there is. I've even got to the point now where it's actually across the road the car is parked, not in front of me, and it's annoying. I need to tune it in a bit. But there is something to that. I have no idea what that is, if it's just a sensitivity to wind or air pressure or what it is. But it's definitely true. You do pick up these things.
I think the cane's got a lot to do with it, though, hasn't it? I mean, I find
Has
that
it?
I think so. Because like you say, if you were walking without the cane, so in the house, for example, or between the shed and the house, I don't think you don't use your cane to go between the two, do you? So because you're not there's nothing to make a noise, you wouldn't maybe hear. That's why I'm guessing that's why you might be more likely to walk into something, because there's nothing, you have to be sending a signal out, right, to get something back. So you need to hear. And I find when I'm walking along, there's points where I wouldn't be able to necessarily tell what it is, but I can definitely feel something's different. Vans are a classic.
Yeah.
When you walk beside one, you can everything just dulls for a second,
Exactly. But is that your hearing, or is that, picking up on a physical thing such as, like I mentioned, air pressure or a lack of airflow? Or
that's all the same, really, isn't it? I mean, it's all using hearing in that way. You're just, it's not just about listening to a sound. It's about listening to changes in wind or changes. I mean, when I'm crossing a road now, I never look left or right. There's no point, right? There's 0 point. Now, years ago, I would have kind of laughed at that prospect because that would be mad to do that. But now I'm clearly in a position where I can't really tell if there's a car coming or not. It's much safer to listen than it is to look.
Yeah, it's almost, you shouldn't look because it gives the impression that you can see if something is coming to the driver.
It's not even that for me anymore. I mean, it used to be just the natural thing to do, to look left and right.
Yeah, I still do.
But then you realize that actually I'm cutting off the very sense I need to know if it's safe to cross. Listening intently is what I do, and I find that much more effective in the sense that, it's been, 300 million years since I've been hit by a car. Congratulations, me.
Yeah, well done. It's interesting, though, isn't it? Are we sort of... So it could be proved that actually we do have better hearing. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Is that a good thing?
Well, it's not a bad thing.
Well, why were we pushing against it in the first place then? When everyone said, "Oh, you must have good hearing," and we always go, "No, that's ridiculous." Why do we automatically jump to that? If it was a good thing, we'd say, "Yes, we absolutely do."
Yeah, I mean, I think
there must be a reason.
I think if a psychologist was here with us, they'd probably give us a reason for it. It's all to do with the fact that, it's almost like people are overcompensating one sense for another, and that somehow goes against the fact that, we're actually battling this vision loss thing, and we don't want to imagine our vision has gone away. So it's like, I don't know, it could be a whole psychological thing. I don't know.
Maybe.
I sometimes feel, especially, there was a period of time, probably a couple of years, I remember I used to, if a sighted person said anything to me about my vision or my hearing or anything at all, I was very prickly about it. I'd be like, no, that's not the case. And again, I don't really know why I did that, but I just did, because it was almost like I was jealous.
Well, I was
jealous if they could see, right? And I couldn't.
Well, and plus it's a bit raw, I suppose, depending on what you're going through at the time when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it's also, do you know what I think it might be? It's also sometimes people tend to say that. And now I think about it, I think, okay, so if someone said to me at the time, because it happened to me many times, they would say, oh, well, your hearing's now better. What I think they missed was that actually, no, I'm really listening. It's not that my hearing's better, it's that I'm really listening.
Well, that's really the argument.
So there's a pressure in that. There's a stress on your body in that, because you're really focusing on your hearing to make sure you're, hearing things properly. And that's where it feels like you're diminishing that by just saying, oh, your hearing's better. As if somehow it's just a given. One sense goes, another one just pops up and solves the problem. And of course, that is garbage.
Yeah, or almost diminishes the effect of not having vision as well, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know, it's a tricky one. And also about the, using sunglasses as a mask to cover your eyes because they're, I don't know, unappealing, or they look strange. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, the use of sunglasses should be because they make you feel comfortable. If you are self-conscious about something like that, then absolutely. But because someone else says so, absolutely, that just doesn't feel right whatsoever.
I'm sure there's more of this than we know, and I'm sure I'm opening a can of worms by saying this. But, again, this is why I love doing this show, because there are things we will talk about on this program, and I know many people listen who are sighted and not sighted, and who learn a lot about what life is like to be a blind person. It's not all about mobility or technology or those things. It's about these other issues where people will, friends and family especially, might say to you, you might want to wear a pair of sunglasses because your eyes look, a little bit, clearly there's something not right going on. And, you don't want someone to think you're drunk.
Yeah.
I could hear all that. And I'm sure there's been worse said to people in the name of kindness, but it's not kindness at all. Because if it was kind, you would shut your mouth.
Well, would you? Isn't it the same of, if you really like someone, it's only your best friend who can tell you got bad breath. It's only your best friend that can say your eyes are looking strange.
Yeah, but the thing behind, I suppose the thing with bad breath is you could say, well, okay, that's a thing.
I'll have a mint and everything's fine.
Solved problem, right? and that's generally, I think we can all agree that's not something that any of us really want. But I can't help the way my eyes are. It's part of who I am. It's part of this is it. This is what I am. There's nothing I can really do about that. And if you're uncomfortable about it, you want me to hide it, then you're uncomfortable. That's your problem. It's not my problem.
It's almost pushing shame on someone, I think. It is. I don't like that.
And it's like, life's hard enough without that kind of nonsense added into it. I'm sure it happens a lot. But, it's interesting, though. I have spoken to a few people who are sighted, and I see a lot of people who are commenting on this rush to wearables and glasses. I mean, Negative Julian has brought this up many times. Yeah. And there are a lot of people out there who don't want to wear glasses. Our good friend Mark Aflalo, right? He's spent a fortune on laser eye treatment, so he didn't have to wear glasses anymore.
Yes.
So he's like, well, the last thing I want to do is put glasses on. Why would I want these things? So, for us, there's a rush, and there's a great debate in this as well around AI and, the benefits outweighing the negatives in the disabled community. Great discussion about this in the minute. I see a lot of people, I don't know where it really started, but I see a lot of people saying, that disabled people, I see these generalizations, right, that go around like, all these disabled people are just happy to, say yes to everything with AI because it benefits us and the benefits are so great. But actually no one's looking at the harms, the real challenges, the real problems it's actually stoking up for society more generally. That's one debate I see, which I think we should absolutely talk about at some point, because I think I've raised this question a few times. I actually tried to get the godfather of AI himself. I want to say Jeffrey Hinton. Yes, I always get his name. Gregory Highnote, who's one of our listeners. I always get your names mixed up for some reason. So Gregory, I nearly made you the godfather of AI. You're welcome. But no, Jeffrey Hinton, the godfather of AI, the one who was seen as the one who started this whole move towards AI, someone who was instrumental at Google and then left Google and said, look, I really don't want anything to do with this anymore. I see where this is going. And he's now spent his life, really going around and warning people about the dangers of AI. I tried to get him on the show. I reached out to him and I said, look, I'd love you to come on and debate this with me, to talk about this. He didn't have time to come on. I don't know if he wasn't keen on the idea of talking about disability and this cross-section, because I think there is a question mark about sometimes how we look at AI and how we see the progress for us as disabled people. We look at the ability to read menus or, look, yesterday's show, we were talking about all the benefits of, emailing off a document and, getting your smart speaker to read it. But what are the dangers there? And do those dangers outweigh the benefits of the accessibility AI can bring? I think that's a great question. So that's one aspect. And then there's the wearables aspect, the actual technology itself, the hardware. So when it comes to wearables, are glasses the answer? Are people going to jump on this? I mean, yeah, we know the Meta Ray-Bans are popular, but they're sunglasses, because most people might wear a pair of sunglasses at some point in their life. So that would be something you might, even with laser eye treatment, you might still pick up a pair of sunglasses.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have done for the longest time, being an RPer, night blindness.
You're the opposite, right? You wanted as much light as possible.
I would never wear sunglasses because I wanted all the light I could get. So for the long, it's only because it doesn't make any difference now that I'm wearing the sunglasses. But the glasses are the only option at the minute. I mean, arguably, if we could get them in headphones, AirPods, even as Negative Julian said, a headband at some point.
Yeah, that's the worst idea I've ever heard.
I'm not a fan, but hey.
Unless the 80s are coming back, and who knows?
But yeah, once AI gets to a certain level, we're just going to see it shoved in absolutely everything, aren't we? Hey, I've got an AI jacket with a little camera on there's a button and whatever.
I don't know about you, I'm quite excited about CES next year, because I'll be intrigued to see what they bring out. I mean, I know a lot of it is just fanciful stuff. Not all of it's going to make its way to the mainstream. Mm-hmm. But what I'm interested to see is what is being thrown at the wall, because there's a lot of spaghetti being flung at a lot of walls at the moment.
There is.
How much of it's going to stick, we'll find out. I feel that Meta Ray-Bans were that spaghetti at one time, and I don't think anyone thought that was going to catch on, and it did. So what I think we need is something else. Now, there's rumors that Apple are going to develop some kind of camera technology into the AirPods, and that's how they're going to do it, or at least one aspect of it.
How on earth can they get the battery life out of those?
Well, how is the camera going to work sticking out of an AirPod?
Well, cameras can be tiny. You got your stems sticking out of your ears anyway, right, in the AirPods, so it's doable.
But my stems dig into my chin. Well, not my chin, but my, what's the bit next to your ear? The cheek. That's it, thank you. I'm not a medical man. Didn't do well in biology.
We need AI. What's that bit next to your ears?
There? Oh, it's my cheek. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, my cheeks stick out a little bit. I'm like a hamster.
Yes,
that's
filled
its mouth full of food.
That's why.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
KFC in there.
Anyway, what are we talking about? Let's go to, thank you, Amy. I really appreciate that email. It's a lot of food for thought. Let's move on to Ian, who wants to reminisce with us about a UK store we were chatting about recently.
Hi, guys, and Laura. To follow up on Yusuf's comments on richer sounds, when I was partially sighted, I went into one of their stores by appointment. I wanted to compare which type of TV display was best for my low vision. It was when LEDs started to compete with OLEDs. They set up a separate room to compare, side by side, each display technology so I could watch the same picture being displayed. As it turned out, the OLED panels are better for my symptoms as they have less background glare and sharper contrast, but that is just me. They were patient and entertaining, and I've used them for all my audio-visual purchases ever since. They have a wonderful customer service ethos, and I want to help ensure they stay around on the high street. Ian from Hull. P.S. I am not a shareholder. I wish I was.
I had exactly the same experience with that particular shop. They always were really good. Their big selling point was that they would go into smaller shops, not in the trendy part of the big city or something, so they had lower building rents and things like that. That was the whole point. But they were just so approachable, always giving you coffee and sweets, and absolutely amazing. Customer service was fantastic. It's one great example of where the high street beats online every time, because they do it right. Yeah, and no, we're not sponsored by it.
No, and the thing is, Ian, you're absolutely right. I would love to see that shop continue. And actually, I think this is where, if other stores are looking to make their mark, it is all about experience.
It is.
I mean, that's kind of what shops are about. But I think what's happened over the years is that's changed. It became this where you go in, you get what you want, you get out. But now you can do that online. You can do that in seconds. There's no value in that on the high street anymore. So if you can go in and experience a product, get hands-on, that's really what stores should be aiming at. That's where it's going to go. And it's funny, actually, the one retailer that's actually starting to bring this back into communities is Amazon. I mean, it's kind of hilarious in a way that Amazon are doing this. They're starting to build stores people can go to check out products. Essentially you can decide, whether you want this product or not, or try this product or not. And you think, hang on, why is no one else doing this? Amazon has eaten all your lunch. And now you're letting them take away the last thing, which is the high street, completely take the high street away by sticking, or even just buying the store that you once owned and putting Amazon into it. And I feel there can't just be one guy who comes up with an idea and excels in that way. Why is it? It doesn't feel right to me that's the case. I know people say, well, you can't go up against Amazon. Well, Amazon went up against everyone else at one time.
You can absolutely go up against Amazon.
It's so defeatist an attitude to say, well, Amazon have got to the point now they just can't be beaten. I don't believe that to be true.
No.
I don't think that's true, because look, as much as I do use Amazon a lot, there are a lot of times I am now, especially, and actually InnoSearch helped me do this, because it has access to so many other retailers and it's accessible. I'm actually going to other stores and I'm saying, well, I'll go and buy it from over here, or, I'd rather get access to other stores that sell other products, because not everything's on Amazon. There's this idea that everything's on Amazon. It's not.
I see online. Look, I totally understand the death of the high street because of online shopping, because it's just so convenient, right? We're out of batteries, order them, they're here the next day. Sellotape, whatever it may be, all the sundries like that. But for things where, that's a great example there about checking out which TV actually the display technology is better for my vision. I mean, I would want to go to the high street for something like that. Even things like clothes shopping, I would prefer to go to the high street. But I've never had a good experience when it comes to being assisted when clothes shopping. So, why would I? It's all about the experience, right? You want to have that connection with the sales staff. So there still is hope for the high street, but I think, it needs to turn around pretty quick.
Okay, I want to get another message in here from Paul.
Hello, my name is Paul Salino and I'm a blind social worker. I've been using screen reading software, JAWS, an iPhone and the Be My Eyes application as well for a while now. It seems that we have come a long way with AI as well. I have a few questions pertaining to virtual glasses such as Envision and Google Glasses. What would be the best one to purchase? Also pertaining to having the ability to have the glasses read to a blind individual a standard deck of playing cards. Is that possible? I used to be a recreational poker player and miss it very much. Also, in the US, there are casino gaming websites with online casino games, but apparently what I've run into is that, due to the graphics, the screen reading software is not accessible. Are there any options pertaining to the accessibility to such gaming with these online casinos? Thanks, Paul Salino.
Thank you, Paul. It's a great question. A lot of people probably want to play these games. I mean, look, I probably should say something.
It's a great name too.
Yeah, absolutely. I should probably say something along the lines of, you should not gamble and it's bad for you, and take it easy in some kind of nanny
when
state.
it stops being
nonsense.
fun, stop.
Stop, yeah. Well, look, also, we're all grown-ups here, right? I think we
Of course.
have to.
Well, you can't play it anyway. That's the bottom
That's
line.
right, yeah. You can't be irresponsible because you can't play it.
No, you're absolutely right. For let's just say gaming sites such as that, a lot of it is completely inaccessible because of the way it's done. Now, is there a way around that? Not currently, I would say. Of course, you could use something like Seeing AI, Be My Eyes, or even some smart glasses to try and get a description of the screen. How practical that is, I really don't think so. That may change with the advancement in agents, AI agents in the future. Maybe you could ask it to, read my screen and click on this card, or, select that card, or whatever you're doing. That may be possible, but right now, I would say it's incredibly difficult.
I remember we were on a cruise last one we were on, and we spent. My wife was absolutely like, she wanted to have a go and have an evening at the casino, and I was like, okay, I don't know anything about casinos, nothing about them, never really bothered with this stuff, never really into gambling, never really bothered with it. Just, it was never a thing. I'm not particularly competitive. That's the problem. So I don't really, if I lose, I'm like, or it's not, I'm not winning, or even if I win, I'm like, whatever. Okay, great. So I went in, and my wife wanted to sit at the roulette table.
Oh.
So she sat at the roulette table, and that was it. And I played a little bit. Didn't really know what was going on, but I played along and lost some money. So, I think that means somebody won, not me. The house always wins. So I was plonked at a machine, one of those. Yeah, well, I asked to be plonked somewhere that I could just sit and play those one-arm bandit, as I used to call them, machines. I don't know if they still call them that, or what they are now. Yeah. Basically, you just sit and you pull this, crank this thing, and then suddenly it tells you if you've won or lost, usually lost. I have no idea what I was doing. Absolutely not a clue. Managed to lose, an amount of money. Just by pulling this thing and winning, apparently. I had no idea how I was winning or what I was winning because I had no way to tell.
Bashing buttons.
I just kept hearing, hey, and that's good. Have I won something? And then it would kind of get all excitable and then make lots of noise, and then I would do it again and it wouldn't make any noise. And I had no idea what I was doing.
Well, that sounds immense fun, I've got to say.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. And I thought, if only this was accessible in some way, some readout from this machine which tells me what on earth is actually going on, rather than just cheers and boos.
I don't think that's ever going to happen. Not a casino, anyway. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But maybe others out there.
Again, we go back to this point about, what's our dollar worth? What's the disability dollar worth? I think it's worth the same to a casino as it is to anyone else. So, with implementing some kind of accessibility, I know this might be outside the thinking right now, but, Vispero are working a lot on kiosks and accessible kiosks. Could this kind of technology be built into that kind of machine?
Maybe there is.
To screen read it,
a lot of these are just computers now. As you mentioned,
well, that's
kiosks,
right. They're not physical. No, they're not physical machines. It's just screens.
Maybe. Hey, we'll have to throw that out to our listeners. Anyone know of any sites or anything that are accessible? Then Paul wants to know.
Yeah, and obviously be responsible if you're doing it.
Yes, absolutely.
Admit, there's always a danger that you can fall down. And I must admit, I did have to stop myself that night. I was getting a little bit carried away at points, and I thought I can kind of see how this would start to get a little bit addictive.
Yes, or chasing a loss is the other thing. And also, you can get accessible playing cards, physical playing cards there, Paul. So if you really want to play poker again, you can either get them labeled with Braille or you can get large print. And I'm sure you could use some sort of, technology, AI technology to read them if you really wanted to. But I think the physical tactile playing cards are probably the best way, more instant way of reading.
What glasses, though? He was asking what glasses. I think at the moment, really it's hard to know, right? Meta Ray-Bans is what everyone's talking about. Everywhere you go, every blindness organization, every blind person is going on about, those who are interested in it, are going on about the Meta Ray-Bans. But of course, there are the Envision glasses still. How long they'll be around, who knows? Because of course, we're depleting stock on that, I'd imagine.
We've got Orcam, My Eye 2.
There's a Giga, which is coming out soon. I think it's about to start shipping in the US with Echo Vision.
Echo Vision, yeah.
What else have we got?
There is a couple of other ones I've heard about, but never seen them actually running. So I don't know. Still very early days. I would say, look, if you're going to put a lot of money into these, we're talking Envision or the Orcam My Eye for something like that, then try them out. You can always get a little trial run with these. Don't be afraid to say, I want to test these out. These are a lot of money. So do that. Test it out. See what works for you. And even if you want to order like the Meta Ray-Bans through an online store, you've got 30 days to try them out. And if they don't work for you, send them back.
Listen, we'll be sent back soon if we don't get out of the studio. So, we better get out of here. But thank you, as always, for your emails. I love getting them. And we're going to get to more of those in the next edition as well. Keep in touch in all the usual ways. Don't forget the website and, of course, the Double Tap Extra podcast, which has got one new episode if you check it out today. Go check that out wherever you get your podcasts. Search for Double Tap Extra. You can get it anywhere now. You don't need that special link and all that stuff. You can just
No more dollops.
No, well, there are plenty of dollops, but accessible dollops. I'm all for that. That is it for us today. Thank you as always. Catch you again tomorrow. Thanks, Shaun.
Thank you. Bye-bye.